What is going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode. We are going ahead and obviously continue to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Big shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Julie, we got Michael, we got Gabriel, we got Raphael. What's up, Jude? See you there. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're gonna have a good show today. Obviously talking about Kyler Murray, the main thing, and not just that, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna talk about potential free agents for the Arizona Cardinals to pick up, because right now we are in our bye week. If you didn't know that, yes, the Arizona Cardinals have a week off, finishing off obviously the beginning part of the season at 3-10. Not ideal, and I'm fully aware of that, but the Arizona Cardinals have an opportunity here to finish off strong. Right now, I'm not saying finish off strong where I'm not saying go on a 4-game winning streak. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying play competitive football. It definitely seems like obviously James Conner and Kyler Murray and the rest of the crew have a good taste in their mouth after this win against the Pittsburgh Steelers, because let's call it like it is. The Pittsburgh Steelers are probably going to be a playoff team, but this was a good win for the Cardinals overall, right? I think this was overall a great team win. So we're going to be diving into the progression of Kyler Murray. We're going to be diving into potential free agents today. So appreciate you guys for being here. By the way, if you guys haven't done so already, smack up that like button. Do it for the algorithm. I also do have a poll question for you guys to answer, and I ask you guys, what is the biggest need for the Arizona Cardinals heading into free agency? Not the draft, free agency. So the options are wide receiver, trenches, or cornerback. Let me know right now. Cast your vote here in the chat below. And before we get started, we are going ahead and giving away a couple things brought to you by Foco, which is the official sponsor here of the AZ Sports Fan this year. We got some friendship bracelets here from Foco. We're going to be giving this away by hopefully this weekend. We got 2 of these. If you are interested, definitely hit me up here on my social medias. You're going to be able to find all the handles down here as well as in the description of the video. And for the bigger giveaway, we got this Arizona Cardinal fleece jacket, I believe is what you call it, a fleece jacket for the Arizona Cardinals with the Cardinal logo. Just hit me up on my socials if you do want to partake in that giveaway. And yeah, let me know. All right, y'all. Let's get started here. Let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals on their bye week. And obviously, the Cardinals came up with the win. For the most part, I think most Cardinal fans are happy about this, as I am as well. I think it's very important to finish off this 2023 season strong, regardless if we are a 3, 4, 5-win team, right? I get it. We're not playoff bound. I get it. There might not be some fans out there that, that don't want wins because of where we are at right now in the draft capital. But I think in the end of the day, if I was JG, if I was Monty Yosifor, I would probably rather want wins, or at least be competitive. So that's exactly what we got against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I thought overall it was a really good win, especially with what we've kind of been dealt with, right? We had like those really, really weird weather delays, which we're not really used to as Arizona Cardinal fans because we play in a dome. We don't really go to the east as very much as, actually, I don't like going east at all, to be honest with you. So it was really weird to see a weather delay, but the Cardinals fought through the adversity. They fought through the terrible weather, and they still ended up coming out with the win. So I want to go ahead and focus here on Kyler Murray because let's be honest. I think the biggest talking point is Kyler Murray, and is he going to continue to be the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals heading into 2024? Now, obviously, the elephant in the room is that the Arizona Cardinals still have that big contract on Kyler. So most likely feels like, yes, he is going to continue to be the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, but I still do think that evaluation is still happening, right? Regardless of what people out there think. The latest report that we ended up coming out with Ian Rappaport saying that this is still an evaluation year at the end of the day. And I think that if Kyler Murray is healthy, he's still going to continue to play as he should, right? I think the Cardinals are evaluating, as well as Kyler Murray is evaluating the Cardinals too, to see if this is going to be a fit for Kyler Murray moving forward. And so far, good things right now. Right now, we are 2-2 on the season. We had a great win against the Atlanta Falcons. Didn't look so hot against the Texans, and then we didn't look great at all against the Rams. And of course, we all know how the Steelers game ended up showing out. So honestly, it's trending in the right direction. Honestly, anytime you hear JG talk about Kyler Murray or vice versa, it definitely seems like this is going to be a good fit. It's just we need to see more of a sample size. And right now, I think it's trending in the right direction for Kyler Murray to continue to remain quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. So keep doing what we're doing, right? I don't think any Cardinal fans are expecting to go 4-0 in the last 4 stretch. I don't think anybody is, right? Because we got a tough stretch. We got the 49ers, we got the Eagles, and then we got the Bears, and then we got the Seahawks. So it's going to be a tough stretch for the Arizona Cardinals. And I think what we're expecting as Cardinal fans is just overall, just be competitive. Just be competitive. Don't get absolutely obliterated. Is kind of what we're expecting. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. But right now, obviously, our bye week is happening. But I think one thing I don't think a lot of people are really talking about very much is Kyler Murray's attitude, his persona, his demeanor has changed so much. And I'm not sure if you guys caught that as well, but anytime chance you get to watch a post-game show or post-game coverage of him, obviously on the mic, either talking about good things or bad things, Kyler Murray seems to be a lot better composed this year than we've seen him in the past 4 years under the Cliff Kingsbury regime, as well as, Steve Keim regime as well. So definitely kudos to Kyler Murray. I think maturity level has hit its all-time high, and I really like what I've seen from Kyler Murray. And even when things don't go great, I still do think he shows his emotion on his sleeve, but it's not to the point where we were seeing in the past years, right? And on top of that, man, he's giving credit to his guys, right? James Conner, as well as the evolution of Trey McBride. So I think overall, I'm starting to really, really like what I'm seeing in the change of Kyler Murray, just his attitude, his persona. I like it, right? We're not looking for that raw type of guy, right? That diva type of wide receiver. No, we're not looking for that. That's not who Kyler Murray is. But honestly, the accountability is up the roof, and I really do like what we've heard from Kyler Murray so far. Then let's dive into what Kyler Murray has said about James Conner pertaining to the win against the Steelers. Because if you guys do not know, James Conner was a former Steeler, and he's had a lot of his younger career in Pittsburgh. So let's dive into what Kyler Murray has to say, but just overall glowing remarks and just the way he speaks, I'm really a big fan of. So let's dive into it.
Yeah, it was something we wanted to do, coming into this game was have, a goal of, getting him, a lot of carries, because he's such a great player. He's such a great player. He's a great leader for this team. We know, we know how much it means for him to come back home and be able to do his thing. So I was super excited for him. Happy that he got to, obviously 2 touchdowns, 100+ yards. It was good for him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was definitely good for him. I think one of the things that as football fans, players like to rally around the idea that you are going to have a breakout game against your former team, right? And I think James Conner actually proved that we're, the Steelers didn't want to retain him, right? But obviously for their own reasons, maybe was the health concerns with James Conner. And obviously as Cardinal fans, we kind of know that that kind of comes with the territory where you have a guy that's a bruiser, a guy that gives no Fs, right? He gives you 100% all the time. But with the running back position that he plays, there comes with injuries, right? So the Cardinals decided to take a flyer on him, getting him in, I believe it was in free agency a few years back. And obviously we ended up giving him an extension and the rest is history. But it's really cool to see James Conner have a breakout game against his former team. And I think it was really, really good for, I guess, just team morale just in general, because I know that there's some fans out there. There's a portion of fans that want to lose for the draft pick. But if you ask any of these players, do you want to get the top pick? They're not going to want that, right? They're playing for pride. They're playing for contracts. They're playing for, obviously, to get the win at the end of the day. So we get it. We're not the best roster on paper, but we have heart. that we do have. We do have heart. Let's dive into what Kyler Murray had to say about Trey McBride. I did see somebody in the chat saying Trey McBride is going to be a top 3 tight end starting next year. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. A lot of people are now starting to notice Trey McBride being that big-bodied, contested tight end, that big weapon that everybody wants, right? So let's dive into what Kyler Murray had to say about the progression of Trey McBride.
Yeah, his confidence is through the roof. He's become a matchup nightmare for whoever's on him. If they're going to put a safety on him, it's tough for safeties to guard him. Super athletic. Sky's the limit for Trey. It's just, I think, for me and him to be able to keep playing with each other. But yeah, just keep playing with him, and the better he'll get.
Anybody else catch that pause? That was pretty hilarious. So basically, yeah, I mean, sky's the limit for Trey McBride, and I think a lot of us were pretty excited about getting him in the second round that we ended up getting in. But like, it's just kind of one of those things for Cardinal fans that we're just so used to not seeing our rookies play. But the moment that we got this new regime, right, Monty Ossenfort as well as JG, we're now kind of starting to see a change in culture, starting to actually show people that if you are willing to put in the work, you might get that opportunity. Right now, unfortunately, it had to really come down to a injury and Zach Ertz being placed on IR for Trey McBride to truly get his opportunity. But nonetheless, I'm very, very proud of what Trey McBride is actually doing so far. This guy has brought so much hype around the Arizona Cardinals because we've never had a tight end like Trey McBride at all. And I don't care what anybody says. That first touchdown versus the Steelers game, that was a freaking touchdown. That was a freaking touchdown. Everybody said it was, and being the fact that the refs ended up calling that back was very, very just, I don't know. It proved that and how weird this NFL season has been so far, right? This NFL season has been really weird with a lot of injuries as well as a lot of really terrible officiating calls, not just for the Cardinals, but just for the entirety of the NFL in general. And that call just kind of solidified and how weird the 2023 season actually is, because that was a touchdown. It truly was. Now, granted, the next play, Trey McBride still got his touchdown, right? So that was really, really cool to see for the Arizona Cardinals to continue to go into the hot guy, and that is Trey McBride. So definitely kudos to him. I'm excited to see what his progression is going to be moving forward. And man, I'm excited. I truly, truly am to see what Trey McBride and if K1's going to be the future moving forward. And I do think he will be. I know there's some people here in the chat that will already want to kind of start trading for another guy, but as long as we're seeing progression from Kyler, I think that's what we're looking for at the end of the day, because we have so many picks, man. We got so many picks in this year's draft. I think last time we looked, there was like 5 to 6 picks in the first 100. So it's going to be a very, very good draft for the Arizona Cardinals. And we already know Monty Ossenfort already killed that first draft. So just excited to see what's going to happen, keep moving forward. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, what I also want to dive into here as well is potential free agents, because we all know right now, if you take a look at the entirety of the roster for the Arizona Cardinals, you probably can list off probably about 10, maybe 15 people that are getting paid more than $5 million. Like, it's crazy. Like, this roster is going to be absolutely different next year. And I don't know how much more I can emphasize on how different this roster is going to be next year. It's going to be super, super different. Now, yes, we are going to be, getting the people that we feel like is going to be, a potential future for the Cardinals, right? We got some waiver picks that have really shined for the Cardinals, and one of them being obviously Michael Carter. I think a lot of us like what we've seen from Michael Carter. Now, if he's going to be the future, I don't know, but that's just kind of another guy that Monty Ossenfort ended up getting in the waivers, where he's already kind of starting to produce, and obviously the more and more opportunity he gets, the more and more he's going to be able to show if he could be that number 2 running back behind James Conner. So let's talk about potential free agents here for the Arizona Cardinals, because like we said before, this is going to look like a different roster next year, and that's absolutely for sure. So let's go ahead and share up my screen here real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys who is going to be potentially available. Now, please keep in mind that some of these people on this list, they're probably not going to be available, but right now they're not under contract, at least per November, late November. I think, mid-November is when this article was released. So there might be some people on here that are not going to be free agents, but it kind of gives us a guideline on where the Arizona Cardinals can possibly go after in this year's free agency class. Now, quarterback, we're not going to pay attention too much, but it is crazy to see Joshua Dobbs being number 3, because Joshua Dobbs, I mean, he had success with the Vikings, and obviously he had some sort of success with the Cardinals. So good for Josh Dobbs. Hopefully he gets some sort of bag. I don't think he's going to get like crazy quarterback numbers, but like, good for him. That's all I got to say. Good for him. Let's move over here to the running back position. Now, we got some premier people out there, right? Whether it's going to be Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard. So we got some like pretty big names out here. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are going to go after big name guys because we are where we are. But not only that, the Arizona Cardinals also have James Conner under contract as well. So I can't foresee the Arizona Cardinals going after a Saquon Barkley, or even a Josh Jacobs, or maybe even a Tony Pollard. Maybe a Swift. Now, granted, DeAndre Swift is having a pretty sneaky year for the Philadelphia Eagles, but I don't know. Maybe not him, but maybe like a Zach Moss. Maybe the Cardinals want to, put their eggs in a basket and maybe getting a Zach Moss. I don't think he's going to go for very much, or maybe even an Antonio Gibson. If you're looking for that running back that's going to be able to catch out of the backfield, that third down type of running back that you're probably looking for, that guy can be that guy, right? Devin Singletary. J.K. Dobbins is a little concerning to me because of the idea of him always getting hurt. So I probably wouldn't go that far, but if there's 2 guys I'm going to be listing off this list, if the Cardinals could potentially go after, I wouldn't say anybody high, but maybe Zach Moss or maybe Antonio Gibson could be a guy, or maybe the Cardinals don't go running back. Maybe they like what they see with Michael Carter, and obviously James Conner is still going to be a part of the Cardinals moving forward. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that shakes out. So let's talk about wide receivers. This is going to be something that I really want to get your guys' take on. These are going to be the top wide receivers, and the reason why this is a big storyline is because Marquise Hollywood Brown is going to be a free agent this year. And I think right now, with where we're standing, these are going to be the top potential free agents available in the wide receiving core, right? So the Cardinals right now, with where we're at, Marquise Hollywood Brown, we got Michael Wilson, which is a rookie. We got Rondell Moore, Greg Dortch, and that kind of seems to be our wide receivers right now, right? And I think it could definitely use a real serious facelift if the Cardinals do decide to do so. But these are right now the guys that are going to be available. And as you could tell, Marquise Hollywood Brown is listed as number 5 because he's not under contract for the Arizona Cardinals. So this just kind of gives you an idea of these guys are not under contract, but they are fringe players fighting for a contract position, right? So you have your T. Higgins, you got your Mike Evans, you got your Calvin Ridley, you got your Michael Pittman Jr., Marquise Brown, Gabe Davis, Darnell Mooney, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Curtis Samuels, Tyler Boyd. So like these are the top guys that I really want to get your guys' take on this. Who do you feel like, if the Cardinals do not go the wide receiving route in free no, let me rephrase that question. Who would you want? Like, let's say, for example, the Arizona Cardinals do not bring back Marquise Hollywood Brown. Who would you want? If this is your list that you have to pick out of, who would you want for the Arizona Cardinals to possibly go after? Because we got some pretty good names on here, right? Now, we're not talking about guys that are like, like your Jamar Chase or, Justin Jefferson. I'm fully aware of that, but like you got to give credit to where credit's due. T. Higgins, I feel like that would be a very, very great asset for the Cardinals. And yes, I think Mike Evans would also be a great asset too, but he is pushing 30. Now, DeAndre Hopkins is still doing it, and I think Mike Evans can still do it as well. He's one of those guys that are in the diamond in the rough, and if the Cardinals do choose to go that route, I would love it. But being his age, there is also that concern as well. But who do you guys want? There's Michael Pittman Jr., there's Calvin Ridley, there's wide receivers for the Arizona Cardinals to potentially go after in this year's free agent class. We got some people in the chat says T. Higgins. We got someone in the chat says MJH. Well, we're not talking about the draft. We're talking about free agent right now. Somebody in the chat says Evans. One person in the chat says none of them are true ones. Well, that's the thing. Maybe we're not looking for a true one, right? Maybe we're not looking for a true one. Maybe we do go Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft, right? Maybe we are in prime position to get a Marvin Harrison Jr. And all we need is that solid number 2. You can't sit here and tell me that you wouldn't be comfortable with T. Higgins or Calvin Ridley or Michael Pittman Jr. as your potential number 2, right? Because if we do bring back Marquise Hollywood-Brown, it is going to depend on the market and what you have to pay Marquise, right? But if you can potentially pay 3, 4, 5 million more for a T. Higgins or for a Michael Pittman Jr., would you do that? That's the biggest question out there. So obviously this is going to be a class that's I think a lot of Cardinal fans are going to be paying attention to a lot, because this year's free agency class, we have over $60 million to spend. Now, I'm not saying the Cardinals are going to go on a shopping spree and we're going to go crazy. I don't think the Cardinals are going to do that. We might be getting like 2 or 3, maybe 2 big people out there, and then maybe, trying to fit it, fill in some roles here and there, some people here and there. But yeah, this is a route that the Cardinals can possibly go for, right? Whether it's Marvin Harrison Jr. And then Michael Pittman, or Marvin Harrison Jr. And then T. Higgins, right? And if you want that speedy guy, you can get your Rondo Moore or your Greg Dortch. Like, this is going to be a really, really cool thing if the Cardinals can potentially get somebody like a T. Higgins or maybe a Michael Pittman Jr. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. So just want to make sure that everybody's fully aware that we got money to spend and we got draft capital for days heading into this year's offseason. So I'm super excited. Tight end, I'm not going to really focus too much on tight end, because in the grand scheme of things, we got Trey McBride, everybody. We got Trey. Let's just move past that, right? Now, offensive tackles, right? If you want to look at offensive tackles, these are your guys as well. Jonah Williams was a first-round talent. Mekhi Becton was a first-round talent as well. If you're looking for interior offensive linemen, there's those guys as well. So there's some people for the Arizona Cardinals to address, right? Whether it's in free agency or the draft, the Cardinals are going to have their choice of rebuilding this roster up in the eyes and the vision of Monty Austin-Fort. So super excited, y'all. Super excited. Yeah. There's that. And I get it. Offensive linemen aren't flashy, so we're not going to pay too much attention to them in terms of like really picking. But like, there's some really good people on this list that I would like the Cardinals to potentially go after, especially the interior guys. But like I said, we're not going to go too much into it because obviously it's not sexy to talk about offensive linemen. And I get it. Here's your interior defensive lineman if you guys are interested in that. Here's some edge players that if you are interested in that as well. Brian Burns, Josh Allen. I know Chase Youngs was just traded over to the 49ers, so curious to figure out how that's going to shake out. There's linebackers. We're not going to really focus too much on that. Here is potential cornerbacks for the Cardinals to potentially get. There's none of these guys here that I really, really want. I was really high on Kendall Fuller at one point, but I don't know. It's just right now, I think where I would like the Arizona Cardinals to go, even if we do go after a veteran, I'm cool with that. But like, I really want to see Garrett Williams elevate to the level that we all kind of want him to, and obviously Keitrell Clark. But like, also, like, let's say for example we do go Kool-Aid McKinstry, right? Maybe we do get somebody like that in the draft. I do want the Arizona Cardinals to continue to get younger and then get that one piece, right, that's going to be able to give you your veteran presence. I feel like that's pretty important here for the Cardinals moving forward. So somebody in the chat says DJ Reader would be nice. I agree with that. No, I agree with that. And I skipped over the interior defensive line as well. just because I get it, right? Whenever you're talking about the line, a lot of people don't find it sexy, and I don't want to spend too much on it, but I agree with you. DJ Reader would sound nice, and honestly, Chris Jones would be the gem, but like he just would be way too expensive for the Cardinals to potentially go after. But I agree with you. DJ Reader would be amazing, 100%. I agree with you. So yeah, we'll see, right? We'll see. We'll see exactly what happens. This free agency class is going to be absolutely different, but I'm game, man. I'm super excited for this year's free agency class, and as you guys should be as well. Somebody in the chat says Mooney. I would think I would give Mooney a shot. Okay. I mean, Daryl Mooney, not a guy to potentially target if you're looking for a lower contract for sure, because let's be honest, if you're going for a Michael Pittman Jr. or maybe even a T. Higgins, they're probably going to go for a lot more than a Daryl Mooney would be. But yeah, I mean, I think anything's on the table right now. Anything's on the table here for the Arizona Cardinals. Anything. Somebody in the chat says, I think Kool-Aid is not going to fall to us as much as I want him to be drafted here. Now, I agree with that. No, I agree with that. I think Kool-Aid is going to be the top, if not the first, definitely the second cornerback getting taken in the draft. That's absolutely for sure. But it kind of really depends on where the Arizona Cardinals fall in the draft as well, right? Right now, we are sitting in the third spot here in the NFL draft, where to me, I still think it's a prime position for Marvin Harrison Jr., just really depending on what the Chicago Bears do. The Chicago Bears fully believe in Justin Fields, then that's not good for the Cardinals. Then they most likely will go Marvin Harrison Jr. If they do not want Fields to be their quarterback moving forward, then we got a chance, right? Then we got an opportunity. We got a chance there to potentially go after our guy, which at least most people's guy that wants. But honestly, if you really look at it, offensive lineman would be a good position, right? Maybe if we do decide to trade back, like kind of what we did in this last year's free or draft, where we traded back up to get our guy. Maybe the Cardinals can do that as well. Maybe we should go after a Fashanu, right? Or maybe we can go after a Joe Alt. That could definitely be potential guys for the Cardinals to go after. Or maybe interior defensive lineman. We can go anywhere, y'all. It's crazy how many holes the Cardinals have, right? And I think we'll have a clearer picture the moment that the Cardinals do what they need to do in free agency. Then we'll have a clearer picture on where we feel like the Cardinals need to go, right? But I still see a world where if the Cardinals don't go after or don't choose to retain Marquise, but go after T. Higgins, that we can still go a wide receiver, right? Regardless if it's Marvin Harrison Jr. or not. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Somebody in the chat says, never know what Monty Ossenfort has planned or what he might do. I agree. I know we talked about the idea of, and I'm not sure if you guys were rocking with me before the draft, but I do remember specifically making a video about Kyler Murray wants Paris Johnson Jr., right? Very specifically wants Paris Johnson Jr. So behind my mind, I always kind of felt like he might be a potential guy for the Cardinals to go after. So there was that, right? And Monty Ossenfort's trenches, dude, and he went after the trenches, and as he should. Somebody in the chat says, it's crazy to me that Kyler's last performance has made all of you more confident in him. Well, here's the thing. Let's talk about that, right? Because obviously we're talking about Kyler Murray. We talked about Kyler Murray's progression a little earlier here in the pod. So let's continue to talk about Kyler Murray, shall we? Here's the way that I like to look at it, right? This is what I'm going to stand on my soapbox, and I'm going to continue to stand on the soapbox to continue to say this. Kyler Murray right now is still under evaluation. He still is. And I get it. We just came out with the win. And I know there's some people out there saying that Kyler Murray didn't have the best game. And I agree with you. I don't think Kyler Murray had his best game in this game. But I don't think he needed to have his best game. And I think this is going to be the transition that I hope the Arizona Cardinals take, where we're not solely depending on Kyler Murray to be the guy week in and week out, right? I hope we're not going to be in the mindset that Kyler Murray needs to save this Arizona Cardinal organization week in and week out. Now, if he is that guy, we know 10 weeks out of the 17-week period, then that's great, right? Franchise quarterback he is. But we're going to have games where he's not going to have a great game, right? This was James Conner's game. Now, obviously, with wins, a lot of people do not focus on what we were focusing on in the losses, right? It just comes with the territory, right? When you win, people are excited. When you lose, everything's put under a microscope. To me, Kyler Murray is still under evaluation, as he should be, and as most people think, or at least not most people, but most people around the NFL feel like Kyler's still an under evaluation. And just like Ian Rappaport said, Kyler's still evaluating the Cardinals, and Cardinals are still evaluating Kyler, right? Wins cure all. Best way to come out here and say that. So it's not that the level of confidence for me as a Cardinal fan has shot through the roof, but I'm not going to lie to you, wins put band-aids on things when you probably shouldn't have a band-aid on things. And I'm fully aware of that. But we got 4 more games, right? We got the 49ers right after the bye week. Ain't going to be easy. Ain't going to be easy at all. Then we got the Bears, which is a potential win. And then after that, we got the Eagles, which isn't going to be easy. And then after that, we got the Seahawks, which are probably going to be fighting for a playoff position. So it's just kind of one of those things, right? I don't think that, or at least I can't speak for everybody, for myself. I like what the number one thing I love what I've seen from Kyler Murray so far this year. And this is, I'm going to stand on my soapbox on this. One thing I absolutely loved about Kyler Murray so far this year, I mean, obviously short with the connection of Trey McBride, but just his attitude and how he's carrying himself, that right there is giving me so many good, I guess to say vibes. I guess so much good feeling, right? Puppy unicorn type of feeling inside my body. That really gives me good thoughts about Kyler Murray. Just his maturity level has leaps and bounds gotten so much better than under the Steve Keim and Cliff Kingsbury regime, right? That right there has given me so much optimism about how he carries himself on the press games, right? As well as on the bench. That right there, I'll give him credit for. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. To me, we still got 4 games, but hey, we got to take our wins when we can take them, right? We're not really familiarized with it. We're not used to wins, so we'll take our wins when we can get them. See me here on the chat. We have a guy who said Kyler played less than half the games of backups and won twice as many. That's fair. Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, Josh Dobbs only won 1 game, and Kyler so far is 2-2, right? We got 4 game sample size and 2-2. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me see here. Somebody in the chat says they should sit him after the 49ers game. I don't know if the Cardinals will sit him. There's been nothing out there that said that the Cardinals will sit Kyler Murray. I don't think they will. Because evaluation, like the only way, obviously, I see the Cardinals sitting Kyler. The only way I see the Arizona Cardinals sitting Kyler, 2 reasons. Injury, right? An injury happens and he can't play, or they're trying to protect Kyler Murray, right? For whatever those reasons, but injury. And on top of that, if they either have their decision made, and that's either yay or nay on Kyler, right? That's either yay or nay on Kyler. So those are the only 2 decision or reasons why I would see they're going to sit Kyler. But the way that Kyler Murray talks in these press games, he still wants to win. Like, he still wants to win. I'm not sure if you caught this last post game conference coverage, whatever you want to call it. He still says it. Every time he goes on the field, he wants to win, right? So I get where Cardinal fans are coming from, where it's like, what's the point of winning now? But it seems like Kyler Murray still wants something to prove. So I'm game. Let's see what happens. Somebody on the chat says after getting hurt, he knew he needed to change. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, we've heard it plenty of times with Kyler Murray, right? With the idea of him having such a drastic injury. I agree with you. 100% agree with you. It's one of those things that definitely maybe kind of came to him and said, yeah, I need to change my attitude, right? And so far we're seeing him being very, very, what's the word? Kyler Murray right now is being very, very adaptive, very, very okay with change. With anything this coaching staff's asking him to do, he's doing it. And you got to give credit to where credit's due, right? Especially because we're used to seeing Kyler Murray sulk. We're used to seeing Kyler Murray kind of throw people under the bus. We're not seeing that anymore. We're seeing a very happy Kyler Murray. Wins or losses. We're not happy, but like accountable Kyler Murray. I guess that's the better response. We're seeing a more accountable Kyler Murray. Not happy, accountable Kyler Murray. Somebody in the chat says, how do you feel about Gannon? I'm not, honestly, I like him. I like Gannon. I like what he's done so far. Obviously, you would rather be in a situation where D'Amico Ryans is, right? That's an obvious thing, right? Or in a position where Sean Payton is, with your team being close to playoffs. I get that. But Gannon, regardless if the decision was made from the beginning of the season that this was going to be a throwaway, you got to give credit to where credit is due. And that is these players are playing tough for Gannon. I haven't seen these players, I mean, short of the Rams game, right? Short of the Rams game, like obviously we're not counting the Rams game was an absolute debacle. We got destroyed, got punched in the mouth, and we didn't know how to rebound. But short of that game, I still feel like most of these guys are fighting for, something, right? And that's something to be said. I get it. That doesn't translate to wins a lot of the times, but right now I don't have anything bad to say about Gannon other than, let's finish strong. And to me, finishing strong doesn't mean going 4-0. It means be competitive. Like, let's finish strong. That's all I can say at this very moment. So we'll see. Let's see here in the chat. Remember, there were several second half shutouts when Kyler Murray was. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. We all forget. We all forget what we were going through, man. The frustration level that we were seeing in the beginning of the season with us scoring points, but the Arizona Cardinals not doing anything in the second half. And literally, I was making a tally. I was making a tally, and how ridiculous the second half offense woes was, right? Now, whether you blame that on the offense, Drew Petzing, Josh Dobbs, whoever was quarterback, I don't care. I just wanted it to get fixed, right? And at one point, the Arizona Cardinals were like, I think my last tally was through week 5, and it was literally the Cardinals scored 97 points compared to 30 points, right? In a crazy amount of span. Like, it was just getting ridiculous. So who knows, right? Maybe if we did have our franchise quarterback, we would have been in a different situation, right? But being that he did have that drastic injury, unfortunately this year, which I hate to say, kind of does feel like a throwaway year, but you are also trying to establish a culture, right? You're trying to establish a culture. And the culture is the fact that are these guys willing to play hard, right? That's kind of where we're at. And so far, it's looking good. So far, it's looking good. Somebody in the chat says, are you thinking about doing live reactions for the Phoenix Suns again? Maybe in the playoffs, but like, I got a few buddies that do this that I do not want to like step on any toes. So that's why I'm very cautious with, like, there's a lot of great Suns content creators out there that like I want to stay in my lane. Obviously, I'm a fan of them all. I'm a fan of the Suns. I'm a fan of the Coyotes. I'm a fan of the Diamondbacks. I'm a fan of the Cardinals. I'm a fan of all of them. And I said this from the beginning since we started this podcast. I'm a fan. That's what I'm actually an AZ sports fan. Like that. That's who I am. And obviously, this channel is geared towards the Arizona Cardinals because that is what people want to hear about. Does that make sense? Like, that seems to be the niche of what gravitated the audience over here. But like, yeah, I watched it all. So I don't know. Right now it's TBD. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it this year, but I'm always watching the Suns. I'm always watching the Diamondbacks. Anything Arizona sports related, I'm game for. Somebody in the chat says, maybe I got higher expectations. I want a shot at Super Bowl, not just at a shot at 500. Too much mediocrity allowed from the coaching and the fans. Oh, that's fair. I mean, well, here's the thing, Andrew. I don't know how long you've been a subscriber of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. I'm not sure how long you have been, but that's my knowledge as well. I mean, that's the way I like to think of it as well. Right now, we are such in a weird situation because if you really truly ask yourself, Jonathan Gannon probably doesn't have the best roster on paper, and that's the truth. Now, you are going to have some anomalies out there, right? Like your Texans, because they are making strides with their rookie quarterback. They're making strides with their rookie head coach and their rosters that they put together, and they look good. And I get it. There's anomalies out there, but the Cardinals right now with where they're at, the expectation for me as a Cardinal fan, I'm right there with you. I think me and you share a lot of the same values. It's just, it's hard to expect that from the roster that we have. But you better bet your bottom dollar, right? If you want the truth, this is where you got to go. I don't give fluff. I don't give, or at least I don't think I do. But Yeah, I mean, starting this next year, we have so much money that this roster is going to look different. I don't want to hear, oh, it's only the second year. No, we got to start showing some results. We got to, and that's exactly what I did with Cliff Kingsbury, right? After year 3, that's exactly what I did with Cliff Kingsbury. I was like, nah, I don't care. We went to the playoffs. I don't care, right? So that's my expectation too. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. Somebody on the chat says CJ Stroud's going to be a star. Yeah, I agree. CJ Stroud looks really, really good. And I know that's where the Cardinal fans want to go. And that's why I got to say this to myself right now. We're still evaluating. We're still evaluating. And I get it. This is year 5 of Kyler Murray. And he's so far only taken us to the playoff once. The biggest thing on Kyler Murray is his injuries. That's a huge concern for me is injuries. Is he able to stay healthy for a 17-game sample size, right? Or 17-game season. So far, we haven't been able to see it, right? This year, he's staying healthy, but he's only played 4 games. So it is a concern. Somebody in the chat says, I hope we keep Gannon. If Kyler had been healthy this year, we would be competitive regardless of the wide receiving situation. Probably. Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, right? But if you do believe in Kyler, I could see where you're coming from. I could definitely see where you're coming from because there was a lot of frustrations. There's a lot of frustration from this offense just in general. A lot of frustrations. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, you better bet your bottom dollar, man. Next year, this offense is going to look different. This team is going to look different. My expectations are going to be in the roof, right? We got to at least be playoff bound, right? We have to. We've seen it before. We've seen teams go from worst to best. We've seen it happen. And I don't expect anything different. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how this roster is shaped out in the offseason because we got money galore and we got draft capital. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Someone in the chat says, we'll take a year to get better. Keim destroyed this team. I mean, yeah, I mean, there was something out there that was posted that, like, looking at all the first round picks that we have, like, even Isaiah Simmons, right? Like, not really worked out for the Cardinals. Zaven Collins is kind of in that same boat right now. Rondo Moore, I know he's a second round pick, but, like, not looking like a staple point in the offense. Like, if the Cardinals went a different direction and we chose to actually got an offensive line for our quarterback, the Cardinals would be in a better situation. That's absolutely true. So we'll see. Somebody in the chat says, shouldn't we have an easier schedule? We probably would. I mean, this schedule is really hard, but like I'm never one of those guys that like to make excuses for the schedule. Like, right, if you want to be a Super Bowl team, you got to play the Super Bowl guys, right? Like that's going to be your test. And I don't think you're saying the same thing as well. I don't think you're saying that, but like we might have an easier schedule, but like I don't care about schedule, to be honest with you. Like if you're going to be a competitive team, you're going to be competitive throughout the entirety of the NFL that year, right? So like this is a tough schedule this year, and our roster is poo. It's not the greatest. So there's that. Let's see. Let's keep it up with the chat here. Let's go. We're gonna go live for maybe about 3 or 4 more minutes. We're gonna probably hit the 45-minute mark and then we'll close up shop. But appreciate you guys for tuning in here as always. One thing I do want to make sure that I let everybody know as well. I'm gonna be doing a giveaway. Definitely by this weekend, we'll be announcing the winners. We got a couple things we got from Foco, which is the official sponsor here for the Arizona Sports Fan here on YouTube. That's where I got this holiday Arizona Cardinals shirt. From Foco, and then this bobblehead. They do a lot of bobbleheads over there in Foco. We're going to be giving away this friendship bracelet. This one, we also got this one as well. And then we got this Arizona Cardinal fleece sweater, jacket, whatever you want to call it. If you want to win any of those, hit me up on my social medias. That is a size medium, by the way. It's a size medium. So if you're anything more, it's just a size medium. That's all the one I got. So if you're a size medium, hit me up on my socials, and we'll be picking up the winners definitely by the end of this weekend, or by this weekend. We should be hitting up those winners. So friendship bracelets as well as that. If you want to go ahead and go to Foco, you can get anything between shirts, beanies, slides, anything. And they are affiliated with the NFL. Use promo code AZSports. All one word, and you should be able to get yourself 10% off. Let's see here. Let's keep it with the chat. Somebody in the chat says, makes a huge difference when Kyler steps into the pocket instead of backing up 10 yards every play. Yeah, no, definitely. We've seen it, right? We've seen it this year, or not just this year. Like, that was a big, big concern, right? These last 2 games that we ended up playing. Now, whoever was the one who made the the game plan, right, for the Cardinals. This is the game plan for the Cardinals. Shotgun. Shotgun should not even be a game plan for the Cardinals. We're at least like not 99.9% of the time. We know that that's not going to be a sustainable offense for the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. It just cannot be sustainable, right? Now, granted, yes, Kyler Murray, this is his 4th week, so maybe there was some, bumps and bruises, some learning curves. We don't know. But one thing we do know is that this offense actually looks so much better when we mix it up, right? When we're under center, when we're in shotgun, heck, when we're doing anything other than shotgun 99.9% of the time, the Cardinals look so much freaking better. So, like, that's something that Drew Petzing needs to take to account, right? Now, obviously, one of the biggest things that JG has said is the fact that he loves to mix it up, right? He's not a 3-4. He's not a 4-3. He's going to mold to whatever he feels like is going to win that week, right? And that might be what we're seeing with Drew Petzing as well, right? The philosophy might be, I'm changing it up because I feel like this is going to help us win. I don't know. To me, I'm not impressed with what we're seeing with just full shotgun. Give me a mix of under center. Give me a mix of shotgun. Give me a mix of different formations. Give me a mix of a Trey McBride show. Like that's what I want to see this year. A continuing for the next four games, and let's see how we can actually stack up with the rest of these defenses moving forward. Because I have more confidence in our defense of scheme compared to our offense, right? In this year. So we'll see. We got 4 games to prove it. We'll have to kind of wait and see. Fingers crossed. But I do agree with you. Makes a big difference with Kyler Murray steps up. And I'm assuming you mean like steps up in the pocket, right? And being under center is a big focal point for that. So yeah, we'll have to kind of wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you guys haven't already smacked the like button, definitely do me that huge favor. Today we dived into the progression of Kyler Murray earlier. We talked about potential free agency for the Arizona Cardinals, who the Arizona Cardinals can possibly snag. So if you guys missed it, definitely go ahead and make sure you rewatch this here. It will be available here on the live tab here on YouTube. Also, make sure you smack the like button. And if you enjoyed this conversation, and if you're not already subscribe it up. We're on the road to 14K. We do got a giveaway happening as well. Make sure you follow me on my social platforms so we can go ahead and give you those as soon as you are picked or if you're picked. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be closing up shop here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Enjoy the bye week. We will continue to throw out content as well as, if there's news here for the Cardinals, we're going to be continuing to throw out content on the channel. So stay tuned. This offseason is going to be absolutely nuts, and that's exactly what I'm excited for more than anything is this offseason. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Big shout out to my sponsors, Underdog Fantasy, as well as Foco. If you want to support them, go on to the description of the video. All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. All right.